Live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra, I am MFA Akosia Adeti with Joy News today. Coming up in the next 60 minutes, President John Mahama gets busy on his first day at work as he revokes the appointments of MMDCEs. Also, government meets power producers to discuss how to stabilize Ghana's power sector. Also, Ashanti Regional NDC files injunction against 3 NPP members of Parliament, citing concerns over their eligibility to hold office. President of Guta urges President John Mahama not to abolish the E-levy.
Suggest that if it is possible, government should not abolish the E-levy.
We have business, sports, and showbiz. We'll be back shortly. Many thanks for choosing us. We're your home of independent, fearless, and credible journalism. Now, first off, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association is asking President John Mahama to reconsider his promise of abolishing the E-levy. As part of his social contract, Mahama promised to abolish the E-levy instituted by former President Akufo-Addo, as, in his view, it has brought some hardship to the ordinary Ghanaians. Now, speaking on the news desk earlier today, Dr. Obin said that the E-levy is a general income-generating tax that will be needed to help develop the country.
I would suggest that if it is possible, government should not abolish the E-levy. And so we can use the proceeds from the E-levy to regenerate this wealth that I'm talking about, to grant access, to give access to the SME and the women, and that the president is so concerned about.
But in John Dramani Mahama's social contract with Ghanaians, he pledged that he would abolish the E-levy, among other key taxes, like the betting tax. You feel that he shouldn't at this point?
This is from is my view, and I'm saying that it's my wish, because if we want money to give to the informal sector, to the SME, to the women, and all that, we should also think about how we should get this money. And so I've already said that we should rationalize taxes, but I'm saying that if there's one tax that I want it to be maintained, it should be the E-levy, because the E-levy is not being paid by only the businesses, it's being paid by all of us, and it's a fund that is a tax that has already been created and is ongoing.
Residents in the Ashanti region want government to prioritize the operationalization of health facilities and the constructions to promote the people's well-being. The concern follows the controversy over President Akufo-Addo's commissioning of the 250-bed Ashanti Regional Hospital and the 50-bed Infectious Disease Center in Siwa in the Bosomtwe district. Project contractor Eurojet D-Invest has rejected the commissioning, arguing that the project was not complete for it to be commissioned. Here is a report.
The 250-bed capacity Regional Hospital is one of 8 hospital projects costing $339 million constructed by Eurojet D-Invest. By capacity, it is the 3rd biggest health facility in the region and expected to ease pressure on the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital when fully operational. The Aferi Military Hospital, with a 500-bed capacity, will be the 2nd largest facility when completed. Residents have been anxious to see the operationalization of the Siwa Hospital. Konfanoche is really congested. If the Siwa Hospital was completed, it would have reduced the burden over there.
Nanka which no a swati.
I'm a bomb clinic. You refer no say the cock of Vanochia. At times we could do no.
I used to work as an ambulance driver at Bomso Clinic. We could wait for long hours at Confanoche until there was a free bed. But if the Sewa hospital is completed, the drivers can just get there in 5 minutes from Bomso.
For us at that end, if you take the Wisconsin road, it's supposed to be a road that will lead to the main hospital, and it's untarred. In fact, it's very dusty. If you within the Sewa itself, where the hospital is also located, the roads are not fixed. So we were even amazed when we heard the president has commissioned the hospital. We were surprised.
The project commissioning by President on Saturday should have brought some relief, but project contractor Erojet the Invest says no permission has been given for anyone to enter the site.
Regional hospital
This is the Ashanti Regional Hospital. Ex-President Kufuor had planned to complete 9 hospitals across the country. I have completed 7 out of these hospitals. I had to come here to commission the facility in my name.
7th month, I can't believe I about the 7th one here, Ashanti Regional Hospital. Let me say, Bianca Sasamiba, Nameba, now Clacano, and for the Jesus on
The Egyptian investment company, in a statement, says the government was yet to meet its financial obligations, insisting they are still in possession of the facility until it's handed over in a correct and legal manner. For now, residents of the Ashanti region look up to the incoming government to resolve the impasse. Of what use is an incomplete hospital that has been commissioned? He should have handed over to the next government, and when it was completed, he could join them to commission in his name. Mahama should ensure it is completed to ease the burden on Confanoche.
It's my prayer that it should be completed, because the kind of amount that has been pushed into this infrastructure is not a small money.
Erojet the Invest says it remains committed to completing the 250-bed hospital to the highest standards and fulfilling all contractual obligations. For JoyNews, my name is Emmanuel Bright-Kweku.
Now, the Ashanti Regional Branch of the governing National Democratic Congress has filed an injunction against 3 New Patriotic Party members of Parliament, citing concerns over their eligibility to hold office. The 3 MPs are the representatives for Obuasi East, Ahafo North South, West, and Ahafo North constituencies. According to the regional NDC parliamentary results for the said constituencies were not properly collated, citing disagreements with the EC. Now, Dr. Frank Amakohene is the regional secretary of the NDC, and he joins us now. Doc, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Now, we want to understand what really is the legal basis of the party's claim that the said MPs are not eligible to hold office. Hi, Doc, if you can hear me. Kindly unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. We can hear you.
Yes, so 3 constituencies are under contention in Ashanti region. First is Obuasi West, Obuasi East constituency.
Okay.
So for Obuasi East constituency, on the 8th of December, collation and declaration were made under by the returning officer. And then Sabwo Abuaji was declared as the MP-elect by the same returning officer. Video evidence to same is available. On, I think, 13th of December, the EC attempted a recollation of Obuasi East constituency, of which our engagement with them, we told them that that collation and declaration has been done. So if anyone is in contention whatsoever, the person must proceed to court for resolution of same. The EC went to High Court on the application for mandamus by the MPP, which excluded the Obuasi East seat. So the High Court order they had or they got did not include the Obuasi East seat. Okay. To our surprise, the EC sneaked Obuasi East into the scheme of affairs and then did a re-declaration of another person as the member of parliament without recourse to the political party and the candidate that was declared earlier. So we said that, no, we cannot watch for this daylight robbery to stand. So we had to serve an injunction on the so-called MP elect on the MPP side, and a copy was served on the Clerk of Parliament and the Speaker of Parliament. So we are hoping that in the coming days, we would bring the matter to a very meaningful conclusion.
Let's stay on the Obuasi East for a moment. And so at the time that they were re-declaring, did they do the recollation without your notice and there was no representation from the NDC, even after the High Court's declaration? Even after the High Court's directive?
There was no notice served on us. Okay. And even Obuasi East's case was not part of the High Court issue.
Right.
Neither was it part of the Supreme Court issue.
Okay.
And even in the EC's attempt to illegally do a new recollation whatsoever in declaration, they never served the NDC notice so far as Obuasi is concerned. Okay,
but if you still collate and if you put everything together, it will still be that your candidate is the person that won that seat.
Precisely so. And we lead by over 300 votes in that constituency.
Okay, let's go to the next constituency.
The next constituency is Afano North.
Right.
And then Afano Southwest. Those two constituencies have similar issues. So I'll put them together.
Okay.
So the EC is to declare results based on pink sheet figures. In Afano Southwest and Afano North, the EC pink sheets were all destroyed during the military invasion, which occurred the 9th of the 7th December after the election and the declaration of the presidential figures. For Afano Southwest, presidential declaration was done, and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama convincingly won that constituency. It was at that time that the tag invasion and the military issues happened, for which reason the pink sheets got destroyed. For Afano North, the whole invasion occurred before even presidential coalition could complete. So if you recall, when the EC made the presidential declaration on the 9th, they made it without 9 constituencies.
Right.
And the 9 constituencies included Afano North. Okay. The EC themselves admitted that they didn't have the pink sheets for especially Afano North constituency. And at our level, at the regional level, the regional EC boards had admitted, and the EC returning officer for Afano Southwest has equally admitted that they did not have the pink sheet for Afano Southwest constituency. Yet the EC proceeded to, in these two constituencies, without alerting the candidates involved and without alerting the NDC as a party, proceeded to do coalition for these two constituencies are not recoalition, they are coalition. They proceeded to do coalition without recourse to the political party or the candidates, and clearly without pink sheets. So the question here is that, can the EC proceed with coalition from notebook results or from any results outside of that of a pink sheet, which is what the laws of the country guarantee? So we cannot stand for the EC to do any coalition whatsoever.
But do you have pink sheets, as you have also said that there was some sort of a tag invasion? Do you have pink sheets at all?
We have some of the pink sheets, not all the full complement of all the polling stations.
What would you be asking the courts to do?
So we will ask the court that the EC should do coalition based on the pink sheet results. If the EC does not have those pink sheet results, then the court in its own wisdom may want to help the whole situation by ordering for a rerun in those polling stations where neither the NDC, the MPP, or the EC has pink sheets for.
When are you headed?
A total rerun.
When are you headed to court?
So the hearing may be somewhere Tuesday next week.
Okay.
So we are hoping that in that hearing, the court will do justice to the case and make sure that a bad precedent is not set so far as the electoral process of the country is
But
concerned.
as we speak, the three MPs who are holding office for the NPP have been sworn in, and today's the first sitting. They are in Parliament.
They are all cited for contempt of court. And you realize that even when the Akotia MP, who through the hearing was also injuncted or barred by the court from swearing in, also is in Parliament and also sworn in on the 6th of January. They've all been cited for contempt. And I'm sure that the court would do the needful and make sure that their orders are followed by citizens and especially people in high-profile offices, including these illegally declared MPs.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Amakohene. Thank you for. We'll come to you on Tuesday for any update. Now, let's go to Parliament, where Parliament also sits for the first time after MPs were sworn in. Let's join Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante for updates. Hi, Kweku. Good afternoon, and tell me the mood in Parliament today, and especially for the first-timers. And also, as you're on it, let us know what usually would happen on the first day. Hi, Kweku. Oh, unfortunately, I've lost Kweku, but we'll definitely reconnect with Kweku as Parliament, the 9th Parliament, is sitting for the first time today after they have been sworn in. We'll reconnect with Kweku to get to understand exactly what happened on the first day. But if I have Kweku, I'll try again. Hi, Kweku. Right, we'll bring Kweku when we can. But moving away from Parliament, which we shall go back to, Executive Director of the Institute for Energy Security, Nana Amoisi, has indicated that the power generation system is currently very weak, noting that government will need about $89 million to prevent a recurrence of the power crisis. He adds that it is crucial for government to adequately resource power plants to ensure consistent power generation, given the inadequate stock of liquid fuel. With the ongoing restrictions in gas flow from WAPCO, he also expects the re-emergence of Dumso starting from January 20th. Now, he spoke earlier on the AM show.
Same power, CAP, AXA, Asogli, the thermal plants will all be short of gas supply. What they will need to survive and operate is liquid fuel. Unfortunately, we don't have adequate stock of liquid fuel to ensure that should SI start from 20th to February 16th, it can cover all that. And but we need to quickly get some liquid fuel. As a matter of fact, we are not expecting any excuses from the NDC government. AXA has fuel that can run for close to 7 days. Same power has some too that can cover some 5-6 days. But Asogli has none. The Bontema plant has none. And so that does not give comfort at all.
If everything remains as it is today, when should we expect to start having power power rationing? If everything remains the same.
The moment WAPCO starts its work, if it remains that they are going to shut down their lines, and there's a restriction in the gas flow to the Eastern Corridor power plant. If they stick to that on 20th of January, and we don't have adequate supply of gas, we must expect to see Dumso from 20th of this month. The fuel we have today, as we speak, and the part that is keeping all the power plants running is natural gas.
Well, government has been meeting with its stakeholders, our independent power producers. Felix Fosu Kwachi, spokesperson for government, details how government seeks to tackle the issue.
All the key players in the energy sector, in the market and finance sector, were present. There is a grave matter that needed to be addressed. First of all, government needed to be briefed, and then we needed to hear what exactly can be done in the circumstance. But in order that you have a full appreciation of what the issues are. I'm going to invite Mr. Frank Otri, who is the Director, Systems Operations of Gridco. So he will step forward and brief you, after which I'll come back to add some closing remarks. Thank you very much. Mr. Otri.
Good morning. So we came here because
government has been briefed in order to address the situation, because we know that it is pretty urgent. A technical committee has been set up that has representatives from all the key players in the management of Ghana's energy sector, and they have up until the close of day today to put before government a roadmap on what exactly needs to be done and how it can be done. So you can rest assured that government is taking the matter seriously and will do what has to be done in order to avert any difficulty for the people of Ghana. It needs to be stressed that the pegging exercise, or if you like, the maintenance exercise on the pipeline, should have been carried out in October of last year. Government then, the MPP government, requested that they shift it to January 20th in order that they will have sufficient time to procure the alternative fuels, that is the liquid oils, to power the thermal plants within the period that gas will not be available. At least in about 2 national security briefings that the then president-elect held with the present government, he asked about the status of the procurement of oils, and he was given firm assurance by the then government that they had put mechanisms in place to resolve the situation, that there will not be the difficulty that we are talking about today. It does appear that that promise was not kept, and therefore the responsibility has shifted to the present government. But President Mahama is alive to the task, and adequate responses will be fashioned to address this particular concern. Well, various options are on the table, and as I indicated, there's a committee, a technical committee, with representation from all the key players in the energy value chain that will be meeting, and they have close of day today to present a roadmap. So all options that can be explored to, first of all, avert any difficulty and address the situation at hand will be put on the table, and government will make a decision based on what we receive.
Now let's bring our research and data analyst Isaac Kofi Ejay to help us understand the situation at hand. Now, Kofi, I know that there have been 2 statements that have been issued from Gridco and Energy Commission. Which one are we starting with? Because we want to really understand.
Yeah. I think that we should start from the most recent one that has been put out by Gridco. Perfect. There was one that was also put out by the Energy Commission in December 2024. That was what they call the Energy Sector Outlook. Now, what we are looking at right now is the situation with WAPCO, because that is the most important news at the moment. Now, if you look at what we have on the smart wall, the planned maintenance was supposed to occur in October 2024. WAPCO wanted to clean the pipeline in October, but we understand, according to Gridco, that the Energy Ministry made some sort of negotiation with them that they should postpone it to January 20 to February 16 of this year. Okay. That is why we are actually having the situation at the moment. Stay
here for a minute. If I understand that kind of cleaning, it sounds to me as though it's mandatory. And so if it's mandatory, I just want to understand the science behind the government appealing to WAPCO to hold on, and then it can be further pushed.
In fact, it's planned maintenance. Okay. So they can actually...
They can push it.
They can push it. I mean, but they wanted it to be at the start or the first quarter of this year, maybe instead of the last quarter of last year. We know how things were heated up. It was an election year. We were at the dying numbers of the year. And so they wanted it to be in this first quarter. I know you are getting what I'm trying to say.
I do understand.
But the most important thing is that, I mean, there are certain plants that will be affected. One of them is the AXA plant, the Asogli, and a number of them that will be affected. According to Gridco, if the shutdown comes to, when Gridco decides to turn the valves off, what we're going to see is that this is going to create a deficit of more than 1,000 megawatts. How is Gridco and ECG going to share this power? Because we know that WAPCO alone brings in about 80 to 90 SCF of fuel, and we need that to power the plant. What we also understand is that this is the deficit I was talking about. Okay. Now, according to Gridco, the recommendation is that there is the need to quickly arrange to buy liquid fuel so that we can have the lights still on. How much do we need to buy this liquid fuel? Approximately, it's about $90 million that we need to, buy this fuel in order to avert the situation.
When they say buy fuel, what do they mean, and how can we also juxtapose it by what the Kwame governs Agboja, and as what John Jenapo was saying yesterday, that some say we have just 5 hours of fuel supply. When they say we need fuel to purchase,
exactly.
What does that mean, and what period can this fuel?
So in fact, what happened in 2015 and 2016 actually changed Ghana's energy sector mix. It moved from one that was mostly hydro to one that is thermal.
Right.
It means that most of the power plants that you have needs fuel, whether liquid fuel or heavy fuel, to actually run. Now, what we understand is that every year you need fuel from the indigenous side. You need to make fuel arrangements from the Jubilee Field, 10, ENI, and Waterview. And then also you need some fuel from the WAPCO side as well. So you need these fuels to come in to actually power the plant. Not just the WAPCO one, we have fuel from WAPCO, and then we also need the gas pipeline to also do the reverse flow in the Eastern Corridor, and that is the Western Corridor. That's actually what's at stake right now. So if WAPCO decides to shut down, it means that we are not going to get the fuel from Nigeria, and then also not get fuel, the reverse flow that we need to send fuel to some parts of the country.
So in basic English, before you skip, so $89.9 million
is what the government needs.
Is what we need. What does that mean for this period? How many days are we talking about in very simple English?
I mean, it's a period that the WAPCO will do the cleaning from January 20th to February 16th. So in this period, we need close to $90 million to buy liquid fuel in order for us to be able to get rid of that deficit of almost 1,100 megawatt. Now, we've also been getting some indication from the Energy Commission. It's not just GridCo that's speaking at the moment. The Energy Commission was the first to put out the 2025 energy sector outlook. And they, according to them, their projection was that this year we need close to $1.5 billion to buy fuel this year. Now, that is an increment of, let's say, 10% if you compare it to their projection for 2024. And they asked a very simple question that, under what circumstances will we have such emergencies? In fact, the Energy Commission did a great job and said that if you look at fuel supply restrictions and fault and plant maintenance, should these things occur, maybe we might not need to import fuel, but should these things occur, we are not able to solve it, then we possibly will need to import fuel into the country. So at the moment, it's not just GridCo that is painting that picture. The Energy Commission was the first to put out the outlook for this year.
Kofi, thank you so much. This makes the president quite busy, and his first day in office after being sworn in on Tuesday. Let's engage Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agbagba on what the president has been up to. Maxwell, we know that there's been a revocation of the MMDCEs appointments, and tell us more about that.
The letter from the executive secretary to the president a while ago, and that letter actually indicated that the appointment of those MMDCEs have actually been revoked. So basically the revocation of that appointment letter. Let me quickly run you through what the letter, the details of the letter, but it gives the indication that this is forthwith. Immediately, they would have to vacate their post. So the details of the letter are signed by Callistus Mahama, who is the secretary to the president, stated revocation of appointments in accordance with the powers vested in His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the provisions of the Local Governance Act 2016 as amended by the Local Governance Amendment Act. The following appointments have been revoked effective today. One, chief executives of metropolitan, municipal, and district assemblies. It also says assembly members appointed pursuant to the relevant sections, of the Act. It concludes by saying that in the interim, the respective coordinating directors of the various MMDAs are directed to assume responsibility as acting chief executives until substantive appointments are duly made. So that is the letter we're getting from the Office of the Secretary to the President in just about an hour ago. Like I mentioned earlier, this revocation takes effect immediately. And so that's the information that we're getting from his office. But John Mahama, on his first day at work here at his cantonment office, he arrived here some minutes after 10 a.m. He's expected to meet various delegations here. We've already had a delegation from the World Bank visiting. There are other delegations in there right now having a meeting with him. It's been a busy first day for him here at his cantonment office. Earlier, though, there was a meeting chaired by the Chief of Staff, Julius Debra. We had all the players in the power sector present at that particular meeting, and it was to discuss what we've all been talking about since yesterday. And so a technical committee was formed to come up with a roadmap to avert what many describe as looming power crisis. So on that committee, we have John Jinapo chairing that committee. We have Emmanuel Amakofibua also as a member of that committee. We have NDC MP Kasela Tufosid also being a member of that committee. We have various players in the energy sector also. They have representatives also on that committee. And their work is cut out for them. They are supposed to come up with a roadmap by the close of the day. Initially, there were suggestions for 3 days for them to finish their work, but because of the seriousness and the enormity of the situation, they were told to come up with a solution, with a roadmap by the close of the day.
Maxwell, giving us updates on the first day of the president. Now, Parliament also sits for the first time after MPs sworn in. Let's join Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante to bring us updates. Kweku, what's happening in Parliament, day one of the 9th Parliament sitting?
Yes, yesterday the Speaker of Parliament adjourned proceedings to start at midday today. It's midday now, but the Speaker of Parliament himself hasn't gaveled the House in session. But as you can see on the floor, a lot more members of Parliament have already taken their seats, and most of them being first-time MPs, they've already taken their seat. Some of them as early as 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, they came in their numbers. If you look, the shot you see are the first-time MPs of the NDC who have taken the last 3 rows. And in fact, this is a parliament that is very different in its makeup and composition. It has close to, in fact, 120 debutants, 120 first-time MPs who are all on both sides, a lot of them on the NDC side because the NDC managed to snatch a lot of seats from the NPP. And so these are NDC MPs, first-timers who have taken their seat. It is a similar story on the other side when it comes to the NPP side as well. A number of them having already taken their seats. The leadership are still here with conversations going on across the aisle. Specifically, the sitting arrangement hasn't been done yet. And so MPs are coming in, they are taking the seats that they will be directed to take before the leadership will do the seating arrangement. We expect that by the close of this week, the leadership on both sides will do the new seating arrangements to take care of all the 276 members of Parliament on both sides of the aisle. And especially if you look at the NDC side, because they are yet to pick permanent persons to lead their majority front, it will stand to reason that perhaps they may want to wait and put their decisions on hold for their new leadership to take over and then do the proper designation of seats. And so for that is the situation in Parliament. MPs on both sides of the aisle have taken their seats, and we expect any moment from now that the Speaker of Parliament will gavel the House in session. I'm yet to see a copy of the order paper for today to get an idea what exact the business is going to be, whether or not the President-elect has communicated to the President already. I can see John Dumelo down there, the MP for Ayawaso West Wogan, who has already taken his seat also in the chamber. So a lot more members of Parliament across the aisle have taken their seat. This is going to be a very spectacular meeting of Parliament, given that ordinarily around this time Parliament will be on break for after Christmas and New Year. MPs will be taking it easy before they return either at the end of January. But from the little chatter I'm getting, this will take some time because there's a number of business to be done, and perhaps by the end of this week or early next week, John Dramani Mahama will name the first names on his cabinet, and then the appointment committee would have to get to sit and start working on all these issues. So for that, the situation in Parliament with a lot more MPs having arrived, I can count close to 100 members of Parliament on both sides of the aisle, more of them from the NDC side and a number of them also from the NPP side who have taken their seat. The council will get back onto the floor and you see the arrangement. You see where the NPP MPs are sitting. That is the core of the minority in Parliament. There are 4 rows in Parliament, and that will be the main anchor of the NPP sitting in Parliament. They will just take that side. In the last Parliament, the NPP and the NDC shared 2 rows each because the numbers were the same. But this time around, because of the sheer number of the NDC, the NPP will take behind where Frank Anadon is seated now together with Habib. They will take the back of that. Perhaps a few more seats in this lane, the second deputy speaker, and a few of them. Because if you look at that, per my count at the last sitting, the sitting arrangement is around 82 seats, and they have 88 as we speak. And so that would mean they could get some 6 on this line, and then from here up until the other side are all NDC. So that is the situation in Parliament, MFA.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kweku. You can trust Kweku to bring you all the updates from Parliament when the business of the day is put before the House. Right now, though, we go for a quick break. When we come back, business. Do stay.
Welcome back to Business on JoyNews today. My name is Winston Taki, and now to our first business story. Inflation for December 2024 went up marginally to 23.8% from November 2024 figure of 23%. This is higher than the Bank of Ghana end-of-year target of 20.1%. The adjustment was influenced by rising prices of some foodstuff on the market over the past month. Food inflation for December 2024 went up to 27.8% compared to 25.9% in November 2024. Here's more in this report.
So with an inflation of 23%, this basically means that government missed its end-of-year target inflation, which was being pegged at 15% and at a point was being revised to 18%. And when you go through the component, you realize that this time food inflation also, drove the inflation to that point. Somewhere in November 2024, food inflation was somewhere hovering around 25%, but currently around 27.9%.
Fruits and nuts that recorded a price change of 66.2% relative to the regional food inflation of 46.0% for the month of December 2024. Highlights of December 2024 rate of inflation. In the month of December 2024, average prices of goods and services went up by 23.8%, indicating that on a year-on-year basis, specifically between December 2023 and December 2024, general price levels of goods and services went up by 23.8%. This is on the backdrop that on a year-on-year basis, November 2024, we recorded an overall rate of inflation of 23.0%, indicating that on a year-on-year basis, between November and December 2024, we saw a marginal increase of 0.0 points for the year-on-year inflation.
However, non-food inflation for the month of December 2024 also went down to some 20.3%, coming all the way from some 20.7% in November 2024. Now, when you also look at locally produced items as well as imported items, they rather experience some sort of shoot, going up compared to what we experienced in November 2024.
Disaggregating year-on-year inflation from a food and non-food perspective, we identified a 7.5 percentage point difference between inflation for food and inflation for non-food, with inflation for food standing at 27.8% in the month of December 2024 and non-food inflation 20.3% for the month of December 2024. We have seen an increase in food inflation, increasing from 25.9% to 27.8%. And in contrast, we have recorded a decline in non-food inflation, declining from 20.7% by 0.4 percentage points to 20.3% for the month of December 2024.
Now, when you look at some divisions, it appears alcoholic beverages food also, recorded an inflation rate higher than the national inflation. Then the Upper East region also recording some 40.6% inflation, being the highest regional, with the highest, inflation for the month of December 2024, whereas the Eastern region also recording some 16% inflation for the month of December 2024. For Joy Business, James Ishen.
Moving on, oil marketing firm GOIL has maintained its position on its dominance basically as the largest oil marketing company for the year 2024. This is despite recording some decline in product supply for the period. It is followed closely by Star Oil, according to the Petroleum Volumes and Analysis Report by the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies. There is more in this report. According to the report, leading OMCs such as GOIL PLC and Star Oil maintained dominance, while new players like Sema Oil and Desert Oil demonstrated remarkable growth in market share, with volume increases exceeding 50 million litres in some cases. LPG usage grew by 6.61%, driven by household and industrial adoption, with increases in the northern and western regions. GOIL experienced an overall decrease in volume by negative 14.48% for January to October 2024 compared to 2023. Desert Oil experienced a significant overall increase in volume by 18.33% from January to October of 2024 compared to 2023. National consumption for January to October 2024 was 5,295 million litres, marking a notable 17.37% increase from the 4,511 million litres recorded in 2023. The analysis of petroleum volumes from January to October 2023 versus 2024 reveals transformative trends in Ghana's downstream petroleum sector, with significant implications for the nation's energy landscape. The overall consumption growth of 17.37% highlights increasing energy demands driven by economic and industrial activity. That's all for business. My name is Winston Taki. Up next is sports.
Let's do sports now on JN today. My name is Haruna Mubarak. Now, Nora Hoptel's departure from the Black Queens was as a result of a disagreement in finance and not because of friendly matches, according to the spokesperson of the Ghana Football Association, Henry Asante-Chum. The Swiss coach, who was appointed in 2023, left her role following the expiration of her contract and signed a 3-year deal with Zambia ahead of the upcoming Women's AFCON in July.
November we and I end to me a more friendly match. How is that enough reason on extending a contract? It goes beyond friendly matches. Purely an issue of
we only failed to play a friendly match in November. How is that enough reason for the coach not to have a contract extended? It is purely an issue of remuneration disagreements. The FA organized friendlies against Benin, twice against Senegal and Japan, where we lost 4-0. In November, we planned friendlies against Senegal, Tunisia and France, which did not happen because of the distance and the players' fatigue after the Japan friendly. It was all done by the FA.
Acquiring not thinking any brand players in the bring into me more Japan and France. That is okay. It was all done by the FA. I don't want to believe that because of one window, I would be prepared for tournament in about June or July next year. And Uncle for a George on is a lack of friendly matters.
Having been sworn in as the president of Ghana for the next 4 years, John Dramani Mahama faces the challenge of revitalizing the nation's sports sector. Now, to enable Ghana to compete strongly at various international competitions, there is a need for proper scouting of talent and the construction of facilities for the goal to be realized. Joy Sports editor Fentu Tahiru Fentu has more.
I think that they should really consider partnering with secondary schools across the country to set up what I would like to call right to dreams across all 16 regions. And you don't need to set up a whole new school, build a whole new school. No, you just need to identify one secondary school and convert it into a school of sports development. And that way, then you can just build adjoining facilities. So they already have a football pitch, fix it, add a track, add an indoor sports auditorium. And that indoor sports auditorium can have a basketball court, it can have a volleyball court, it can have all these other things in there, like we have in many US high schools. Just build one hall that has everything to add to the track and then the football field that's already there. And then what we can do is that, obviously, because it's already a secondary school, the classes already exist. So it's school and sports. And those are specialized secondary schools across all the 16 regions. You have just one in each region. So you have coaches for various sports in there. You have teachers. You can have one headmaster. And you have two assistant headmasters, one in charge of sports, one in charge of academic. So once someone goes through the 3 years, there's academic curriculum and there is sports curriculum. If they finish the school, whichever one will help them would help them. But that is sports at the very grassroots, because we go to secondary school at age 13, 14. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. By the time you finish at age 17, 18, you know exactly what you want to do. We can get all our under 17 footballers from there. We can get under 18 athletes from there. We can get amateur boxers from these schools. That way, it becomes a system. And I think we will benefit immensely from that. Because trust me, and even the GFA can select their under 17 players there and take to prom. You don't need to go around the whole country scouting for talent. The talent are already in school. Because look, the Right to Dream model, and it's happening right here in Ghana. And the Right to Dream model has university graduates from Ivy League schools in the US. And they started here, right here in Old Accra. The football didn't work out for them, and they ended up getting scholarships.
That's your sports. My name is Harun Obarak. Showbiz comes up shortly. Please stay.
Hello there, good afternoon. Welcome to the Showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline Asuma Yabua. Well, to our first story, the inauguration of the Ghana's 9th Parliament was not just a political milestone, it became a showcase of tradition and style. From bold kente to daring corset, MPs turned the House into a fashion runway. We bring you the blend of politics and Ghanaian fashion. At the inauguration, my colleague Abla D'Souza has more on the following report.
The inauguration of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana wasn't just about a new chapter for parliamentary business, but it turned into a runway where tradition and style and fashion took dominance. Kente, agbada, smock, kaftan, among others, were in display in each corner of the August House. For some MPs, their fashion statement on this night will be louder than any parliamentary debate. Patricia Piaget, the MP for Asokwa, turned heads and possibly caught her own breath in a daring kaba which offered her nothing but restricted comfort. Clearly, fashion for breathlessness. Her corset top design, bearded in blue, gold, red, and black, can be described as a tribute to Ghanaian creativity. Comfort Doyokudo Kansa, MP for Ada, was draped in a timeless black and white kente. She skipped the corset craze, embraced what millennials might call hipping. Her graceful interpretation of tradition offered both poise and comfort. Then there was Mavis Nkansa Boadu, MP for Afija Central East in kente. Her look was both commanding and celebratory, a vibrant nod to her roots. In a striking red dominant kente, covered with a red net on top, Gloria Usu, MP for Trobo, seemed ready for a battle, or at least to make a victory statement loud and clear. With her slit and kaba, the fiery red was as bold as her fierce political journey, underscoring her message.
is a wrap for the showbiz segments with me, Jacqueline and Suma. Over to you, MFA.
Thank you, Jacqueline, and thank you as well for choosing us for Joy News today. My name is MFA Kosiadeti, and there's more news if you log on to myjoyonline.com. Get ready for Marketplace with Darrell.